Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to go over how I'm getting ready for this year's Inktober. So I don't actually use the official Inktober prompt list, but instead for the last few years I've opted for making my own prompt list, which I've started calling my Winktober drawing challenge. I'm going to insert this year's list here, and it's also posted over on my Instagram if you want to check it out. This year, I decided to work with markers, and I switched between 3 different brands, and those are Ohuhu, Copic, and Arteza markers. And these are all alcohol markers that are dual-ended. The Ohuhu and Copic markers are dual-ended with a brush tip and a chisel tip, and then the Arteza markers are dual-ended with a bullet tip and a chisel tip, so I do have a little bit of variation. I originally only used Copics, but they're not really the most budget friendly, so I found that I actually really like these other brands as well, and they're really great because they have a huge variety of color options, and I think they're all similar enough that I can use them interchangeably. For my sketching, I'm sticking to what I always use, which is a lavender color erase pencil and just a regular eraser. I also have this really nifty pencil sharpener from Daiso that lets you adjust the length of your pencil tip, which I think might be a little unnecessary, but I think it looks pretty cool. For all of my inking, I'm going to be using a mix of fine liners from Micron and Le Pen, and if I want to add more line variation later, I might bring in some felt tip brush pens, but for now I'm going to start with these. For paper, I'm going to have 3 different books in my lineup. The first is a Graphite sketch pad from Clairefontaine, and this is just a really basic sketch pad that I use for scribbling out ideas for drawings before I really commit to them. I bought this to be purely functional. I normally really like my sketchbooks to look super clean and nice, but this one is just meant for rough ideas, and I don't feel pressure to do anything really nice in it, and it's nice to have the freedom to just scribble out ideas without feeling like they need to be perfect. For my finished drawings, I'm using this small landscape art journal from Handbook. I don't remember exactly what kind of paper this is, but I think it's mixed media because it doesn't have the texture that watercolor paper has. But it's definitely thicker than sketch paper, and it takes markers pretty well, but it does bleed through a little bit. I wanted to stick to something small this year because October is going to be a really busy month for me, and limiting the size means limiting how detailed I can be. I have a tendency to go a little overboard when I have more space to fill, so hopefully this will help with that. Plus, it's a really fun challenge to see what I can do with such limited space. I actually used the same size book for a Frogist drawing challenge last year. This one's by Arteza, but it's the same size, and I really enjoyed working in it, so I'm happy to be jumping back into the same size again. The last book I carry around is my Traveler's Notebook. This isn't exclusively for this drawing challenge, but it is something I use for random doodles and note-taking. I like to write down ideas and work through projects on paper, so this is mostly just to scribble down any new ideas that I might have throughout the month. A lot of the time when I'm doing art challenges like this, I'll get ideas for other things that I want to draw, so I'll just jot them down here so I can refer back to them later when I have more time. I also sometimes sketch in here as well, but it is smaller than my sketch pad, and I also don't always feel like using craft paper, but it is nice to have as an option. I decided to do some quick sketches of my ideas for the first day's prompt because, full disclosure, I'm probably going to be doing a lot of these in advance since I know I'm going to be too busy to draw on some of the days next month. The first day's prompt is mushrooms in the botanical magic category, and I first thought I wanted to draw an elf with a spell book that had mushrooms and toadstools sort of spilling out of the pages, and I did like this idea, but halfway through it I got a completely different idea and I wanted to play with that as well. I actually realized I wanted to go for a simpler style this year, both because of the size constraints of my sketchbook and also because of my own time constraints. So for my second sketch, I ended up going for a little bit more of a simplified style, and I simplified the details on the facial features and on the overall shapes, and I think that's more the direction I'm going to end up going in. And I really loved this image of a forest elf conjuring up giant mushrooms and toadstools all around her, so I think I'm going to lean towards that idea. Plus, I love any excuse to draw a giant mushroom hat. I will have to adjust the proportions of this sketch a little bit to fit into my final drawing, but that's the really nice thing about using one of these rough sketch pads, is that you can work through all of these ideas and kind of scribble out anything that you want without worrying about ruining the paper in your final sketchbook. If you want to see the final version of this and also the rest of my drawings for the month, make sure you check out my Instagram, which I'm going to link below, and if anyone wants to join me in using this list, post your work with the hashtag Winktober 2022 so I can see all of your amazing ideas. Every year you guys post the most beautiful work, and seeing the things you come up with is honestly my favorite part of this whole challenge. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're all as excited for October as I am. Until my next video, I hope you all have a great day. Bye!